what shouldn't you do when it comes to marketing and sharing your webcomic? Okay, first and foremost, let's talk about self-promotion channels. Okay, let's talk about self-promotion sections on forums. Let's just talk about that. So I have a self-promo section on my Discord that you can post in, but you're only allowed to do it if you are an active member of the Discord. There's a secret code that you need to ask a friend and figure out in order to start promoting, because self-promo sections are just littered with posts from people who never engage with the community, and they're rarely interesting for people to actually click on. They're kind of a void that you scream into, and I don't like that. It doesn't help you. It's a waste of your time, and if you overuse them, people will find you very annoying and are unlikely to click on your comic. The same token, I am sick of this, is people who post links to their own comic in my comic. I delete that, and people don't like you when you do that. It's not going to build you goodwill within the community, and you want that. You want people to be on your side, because the comic community is actually quite small. A lot of people know each other and will talk, and no one likes it when you comment in their comic just linking to your comic for no reason. Like, it's just a bad move. It looks bad on you, and it's stinky, and you're stinky if you do that, so don't do that. Similarly, follow for follow things. No. Okay, there is a difference between building friends and following each other and asking each other to just follow mindlessly each other's comics and just like for like. That's not actual engagement. It's... So I have a comic, right, that went on hiatus and lost a whole bunch of engagement. So the fact that I have 8,000 subscribers on Webtoon doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't translate into any meaningful viewership. It has the same amount of interaction, page views as my comics with 100 followers. So you need genuine connections to build that stuff. I don't know how it works algorithmically, but it's just kind of scummy, and it's not good. It's not good. It's not good for your soul, okay? And I don't think it's good for your marketing either. And usually that kind of stuff also will get taken down or looked into by platforms. So just be careful with that. Those are kind of the top ones I think of when I think of not promoting, how to not promote your channel, how to not promote your comic. My other thing is, don't overspread yourself. So this is for your average person, I talk about posting on multiple websites, posting on multiple social medias, post on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. But you're just one person, okay? You don't have a social media team, and if you spend all of your time posting on all of these different avenues, all these different sites, you're gonna burn yourself out. When it comes to marketing your comic, when it comes to having a comic, you don't need the hugest audience to be successful, right? So focus on building an audience in a few places. It's good to have a nice centralized place that doesn't rely on the stability of a website, right? Think about Twitter. When Twitter went to hell, a lot of people lost their followings. When Tumblr had its big Tumblr apocalypse all the way back then, a lot of people lost their followings. There's exoduses that occur all the time. So things like mailing lists, things like having your own website, building that foundation is very good to have. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, obviously, but you don't want to spread yourself thin, which is why it's good to build something that you own, and have some sort of ownership over, tomorrow your Webtoon could get taken down for some reason, you never know. And I don't want you to be caught in that. So when it comes to marketing, make sure to build your own central hub. Yeah, that's my advice for that one. Not sharing your posts enough. Here's the other side of the coin. Like, I'm sure a lot of you are nodding your heads along with the idea of like, don't post on other people's things. Self-promo is bad, but you do need to share your comic. If you are someone who's worried about coming across as annoying, you're probably not annoying. Okay, like, people need to see your posts in order to see your posts, right? So there can be this thing, and it happens on YouTube too, where if you don't post a lot and you start upping into posting often, you will have a drop off in followers, subscriptions, whatever, but it may be healthier for your channel, your engagement in the long run. So make sure to post and share your comic when it updates on your socials, if you have them, if that's something that you are building, because it gives you an opportunity to post something, for one, and two, people who follow you are going to be interested in your comic. Presumably, if it is your bread and butter, they'll want to hear about it. Like, when I started posting Pretty Mouth, a lot of people didn't know I was reposting Pretty Mouth, and they were sad to hear that I hadn't updated them on this pivotal news. So it is important to share, and in the case of Pretty Mouth, I just didn't share because I don't like Pretty Mouth, but like, I should. That's another thing. Don't be embarrassed of your work. Don't be embarrassed of your old work. Make sure to promote things again, and it's okay to repost things. When you're sharing stuff on socials, you can repost your favorite page from your comic and be like, I did such a good job. You can post all sorts of in progress work, which is cool. But yeah, don't be so scared of it that you never post. Cough, cough, Ursula. Use what is at your disposal, but don't do everything, okay? You pick a handful of social medias, okay? You pick a handful of platforms, whatever is reasonable for you to post your comic and your art to, and you work on that. It might be one or two. It might be you don't want to do socials at all, which will hinder you. I'll be real, like, you probably need some sort of social media presence, but if you just want to post on a comic site, I would honestly I always consider things like Webtoon, Tapas, whatever, to be social media for comics rather than my main place to post my comics. But yeah, if you consider that social, then yeah, I think they also have a social feed on Webtoon that you can use. You just gotta find what's good for you and use it. I'm talking in a circle. What am I doing? And kind of back to like the beginning point, I think the main mistake that you can make when it comes to promoting your comic is not engaging with the community, with one of the art communities. You know, I have a writing art comic community specifically on my Discord, but in the comments section, as well as on our live stream, there's like tons of comic people you can meet there, but there's plenty of other places you can go. You know, I'm just being self-serving here, obviously, but finding community, finding other people who work on comics, they are going to be pivotal in your success. I find this especially to be the case when I am doing Kickstarters, is having larger people in the comicking space. And a lot of the people that I befriended were not big into comics when I befriended them, okay? Like, I didn't just make friends in high places, right? So making friends and those connections, they help promote my Kickstarters to much wider audiences. When I have a very meaningful post that needs to be shared, that's when I can tap into my network, which is very important and integral. And you can't just like be chasing the most popular comic creators to be your friends. You have to find people at your level and you have to befriend them. There's so many times where everything will just come back to community for me, but it's just very important. Finding a handful of very nice people is so much better than a large Webtoon following, I guess. For me, having 8,000 Webtoon subs is not as important as the 50 or so people that I have connected with over the course of comics. And if you really want to get into comics, a really good place, a really good space to find that is at conventions, specifically the CAFs, the comic art festivals. Comic art festivals are a great place to network with people. I met so many people by going to mixers and events. If you're really serious about it, I really would recommend leaving your house and interacting with other artists. Touching grass, that's my last advice, is to touch grass, to make friends with your local art community, because they're going to be very helpful to you. And yeah, that is my advice. Those are the mistakes to avoid and some things to do, I guess. So thank you so much for watching. Reminder again, I am doing a commission stream. Well, my wife is doing a commission stream at the end of the month. It's going to be a week-long event where we are raising money for our dog who needs tooth surgery. So be there or be square. All participation helps, even if you can't donate. Thank you. See you in the next one. Goodbye.